I'm with Jon Cogswell, president of CopperBeech Associates, and I'm very excited, Jon, that we have finally convinced you to present to the NECCF team. And we're honored to have you. I know you've been on the board for a long time. You've helped grow the org, and your presentation covers one of my favorite things: personality
Yeah,
types.
that's right. All those crazy personalities out there. Yeah, so thanks, Dave, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're October 25th, Wednesday at Conference Center in Waltham Woods. So I'm excited about the venue and also the opportunity after lunch to kind of get everybody moving and thinking relative to some preliminary stuff with Myers Briggs. So I've worked with it for close to 25 years now. And actually, obviously, personally worked with it prior to that. But what I'm going to be doing is kind of helping people maybe understand a little bit about what their type preferences might be, right? Because we're not doing a formal assessment, if you will, what they might be, and also to think about how sometimes those preferences, there's an old phrase, a trait magnified becomes a weakness. So the notion that understanding where you might create a blind spot because of your overcommitment to some aspect of your personality, right? So here's a couple quick examples, right, to bring this home. So there's the classic ones everybody knows and is very visible, right? Extroversion, introversion, okay? So just because I'm using my hands, it's pretty clear where I am. So at any rate, extroverts out in the world of people and things, expressing everything, basically, you know exactly where they're at. People with a preference for introversion, more in here, living in this world, more observational, harder to understand because it's not out there like an extrovert. So immediately you can think about where those could create problems, especially as an example, if you had a management team that was all extroverts or heavily skewed towards extroversion, or a management team heavily skewed towards introversion. So those are kind of things I'll talk about and explore, and have the group help me kind of work through and think about how an excessively extroverted management team or organization might create problems for itself, okay, as an example. And then there's another one, which is, how messy is your desk, right? I mean, if you open the trunk of your car, do you know exactly what's in it? Is it just a storage space for who knows what, right? And so there's a preference around how much structure you like in the world. So there are those that are more what they'll call open and adaptable, right? And so that's the messy desk, that's the messy trunk, whatever it might be. And there are those that there's a place for everything and everything in its place. And that more structured world for them is critical for them to operate. So again, now think about leading an organization. If you had people that were more open and adaptable, there are certain areas where that might be wonderful in terms of being ability to respond quickly to market conditions and issues, versus those that are much more structured in their worldview or needing a more structured approach might be slower to move to things, but also that structure brings with a certain discipline and safety as an organization. So a lot to talk about here. And those are just two kind of preference areas that are very obvious that everybody kind of sees. And there are others that are a little harder to see that tie in very much to taking in information and making decisions, which we do every minute of the day, especially in the business environment. So it should be a lot of fun, especially, again, getting everybody engaged and thinking about, how could these particular traits, if they're magnified, create a problem? And that lends itself to some self-awareness as well. In other words, for extroverts like me, knowing when to shut up.
I find it's always one of those things that we all think about, who has what kind of personalities, but we don't usually understand how we can use that to make our groups better.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Good stuff. Looking forward to it.